Hello, everybody. Welcome to our International Interest Meeting. This is the first international trip that we've had at iAcademy, so we're super excited and very glad that you were able to take the time to be here today. So welcome to everyone. This trip is open to any full-time high school iAcademy students. So if you're a current 8th grader, but next year at the time of our trip, you will be a full-time high school student, this trip is still for you. It's available to you. Today we hope to give you a lot of information about the trip, the tour company we'll be traveling with, the itinerary, some of the cost information, as well as how to sign up. Hopefully when you entered the room, you had a document that was sent out to you and you were able to save that document. That gives you all of the critical details that we'll go over during our meeting today, so you won't feel like you have to take notes the whole time and remember everything. And we're, of course, recording, so we'll send that recording link out in case you want to watch it again to catch any of the information you might have missed. So my name is Ms. Chaperone, and the other iAcademy teacher chaperones are here in the room as well. We're going to tell you a little bit about ourselves in just a few minutes so that you can get to know who you might be traveling with and why we're doing this. So again, we're really glad that you're here. A brief reminder before getting started, please use the chat features at appropriate times during this meeting. If you have questions, do ask, and either myself or one of the other teachers will answer your questions for you. Please do not share any personal information in the chat box. If you do have specific personal questions, then we'll ask you to contact us privately. Okay, so let's begin. First, I just want to find out, with everyone in the room here from different places, probably around the world, where are you? Where are you from? Where do you currently live, or where are you from? Yeah, Allison, do you recognize this board? Yes, from Explorers Club. It's a little bit like that, right? Talking about international travel. Oh, we got a lot from the United States, huh? Oh, from Morocco. That's so exciting. Wow. Pretty high concentration of United States, huh? Well, that's awesome. There we go. Smile your face up by Morocco. It was near there. Well, that's great. There we go, into Central America or maybe Mexico. Awesome. So now that we know where you're from, if you'd like to tell us, using your whiteboard tools or the chat box if you like, where you like to travel, or maybe where you've traveled already. What do you love about travel? Where have you been? Where do you want to go? In the trip that we take, yeah, it's familiar, huh? In the trip that we'll be taking next spring, we'll be traveling to 3 different European countries and 3 capitals, 3 major capitals of Europe: London, England; Paris, France; and Madrid, Spain. Very exciting, yes. Victoria, you're excited about the Spain part? I'm sure Mrs. Flores Hall shares your excitement, especially. So France, all right, Caitlin, I'm there with you. Allison's into Germany and Italy. That's awesome. Carter, maybe if you try using the audio wizard, the little microphone near the top of the screen. Australia, Bermuda, whoa, Czech Republic. These are very diverse locations. Wow, Madeline, you're going to Hungary with a choir? That's great. Cancun, Toronto, other places. Wow. So we have a lot of world travelers then in the room. You're already world travelers. Very impressive. That's so great. Well, we're glad you shared, and we're glad that you're excited about this international trip possibility as a school group. Wow, I really am impressed. You guys have really traveled. Oh, I see Ohio in that. Woohoo! I'm from Ohio. Oh, there's really not many sights to see in Ohio. Not in my opinion, but that's great. Well, you know, it sounds like you guys already have a lot of enthusiasm for travel, and that's wonderful. Here are some reasons if you didn't already have a reason to travel. You're born in Ohio. Nice. That's great. So the experience is everything. Educational travel is a vital part of a complete education. And out of your chaperones, we are all within the World Language Department. We all believe in the importance of learning foreign languages and learning about different cultures and experiencing those cultures and those languages firsthand. And, you know, whether you're a student of French or Spanish or even a learner of English, a student of English, this trip is good even if you're learning, you know, Chinese or Latin, so that you get exposed to different cultures and you see how other people live in different countries. And the majority of individuals that participated in youth travel directly credit their travel experiences as positively impacting their education and career. And it's really something special to travel as a school group. It really is. I can tell you, I remember when I was a junior in high school, my junior class trip to France. Now, I never in my wildest dreams thought I would be a French teacher, but I'll tell you that trip really changed me and changed my life and the direction of my life, and I still didn't necessarily want to be a French teacher at the time, but I knew that I wanted to learn more about different cultures and meet new people and speak different languages, and it can really open up possibilities for you personally as well as in your professional life. So we're very glad you're here, of course. Our iAcademy teacher chaperones, we have Mr. Charlie Meehan, who is our World Language Department Chair, Miss Alexa Flores-Hall, who teaches middle school Spanish, Miss Maya Mahler, who teaches high school French, and myself, Miss April Mernan, I teach middle school French. We'd like to take just a couple minutes, and each of us are going to tell you a little bit about ourselves and you know, a little bit maybe why we are doing this trip so that you can get to know us better and we can have even more fun on the trip itself. So with that, I'm going to pass the mic over to Mr. Meehan so he can tell you a little bit about himself.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the meeting. It's a really exciting opportunity for iAcademy students and for the chaperones also. I know we're all looking forward to this trip. As Ms. Renee said, I am the Department Chair for World Languages. I currently live in Miami, Florida, but I'm originally from Providence, Rhode Island. And I have a Bachelor's in English from Rhode Island College and an MFA in Poetry from the University of Miami. I've taught for 14 years at the college level, and I've taught for 7 years online. Since I'm from the New England area, it makes me a New England sports fan. As you can see, the 4 teams represented there. I also play in a band called Notice, play and sing. That's me there playing guitar. And I have a cat named Lilith. And I'm really excited about this trip. I've never been to Europe, and so this is going to be a wonderful opportunity for myself and for everybody involved. So I look forward to it.
Hi, everybody. I am Mrs. Flores-Hull, and I am one of the middle school Spanish teachers here at iAcademy. I currently am in Arizona, so I'm a different time zone. When everyone was showing their little sparkle dots on the map, I'm out west. I am originally from California, but I do live in Arizona now. I went to Georgetown University back east, and that is where I was a Spanish and psychology major. And I first had the opportunity to travel to Europe when I was at Georgetown, and I went to Germany, and I went to Italy, and a bunch of other places, and it was amazing. Spain is my absolute favorite place to visit. Italy is a close second. This picture right here is from the Plaza Mayor, which is in Madrid, one of the locations that we will be traveling and visiting on our trip with iAcademy. This is a picture right here of my family. You'll see my husband and my 2 children. We are huge baseball fans in our household, so this picture was taken at the All-Star Game, the baseball All-Star Game, which this year is going to be in New York. 2 years ago, it was here in Phoenix, Arizona. I do have my master's in educational technology to be specific, that I earned as an online student, so I'm very familiar with the way you guys are learning and interacting with your teachers, as that's how I earned my master's. And then down here, these are my 2 furry children. I have Razor, he is our black lab puppy. He's just over a year old, and he is just loads of trouble. And then this is my fluff ball. Her name is Flower. She's a Lhasa Apso, and she's got huge hair. And here she was rolling around on the couch, and I love this picture because she got static cling, and her hair stood up on all ends. She really is a pretty dog, but she doesn't look very pretty right now. She has lots of dreadlocks. So I look forward to traveling. I have taken groups of students to Europe before on several different occasions. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Maya Mahler, and I am a French teacher here at iAcademy. I am really looking forward to traveling abroad with everyone. I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. I do live in Western Pennsylvania. I live with my husband and with our 9-month-old son, Colby, who you might hear singing in the background. He is awake right now. I'm a native French speaker. I'm actually Lebanese, and I grew up speaking French at home. And I also never thought I'd be a world language teacher, but I love speaking French, and I absolutely love sharing my love for French with my students. I have a degree in education from John Carroll University, and a master's in school-based psychology from the University of Pittsburgh. I taught for a long time in brick-and-mortar schools. I've taught a lot of different content areas. I didn't start out teaching just French. I've taught French and a few other languages, and I've taught several other subjects, but my love has been teaching French, so I am so thrilled to be back to speaking and teaching French all day. Sorry, Colby wants to be heard. I've traveled because I'm Lebanese and because my family lives throughout the world, and because, oh, thank you. And because I think people who live and grow up abroad tend to travel a lot, my family has traveled just all throughout the world my entire life. So I've been pretty much everywhere. I've been very, very blessed that way. So I've just been all around visiting family. And so I love that I can share that experience and my knowledge and comfort with traveling with the students here at iAcademy. I think that that's really great that I can do that. So looking forward to chaperoning this trip and sharing any experience and knowledge that I have. And anytime that any parents and students have any questions about this trip, about traveling abroad, don't hesitate to send a K-mail or find me or any of us on Skype. That's why we're here. So, Sabrina, I do speak a little bit of Arabic, more French than Arabic, but when we moved to the U.S., we focused more on the French. So, okay, that's it for me. So I'll pass it back to Mrs. Mernian. Okay, thanks.
Hello again, everyone. Again, my name is April Mernan, and I do teach French. This is my first year with iAcademy, my first year teaching online. I taught for 6 years in brick and mortar schools, always French, maybe a little bit more high school French than middle school, but I do really enjoy teaching at the middle school and high school levels. I received my bachelor's in French in Ohio, and then got a master's in French in Ohio as well. Born and raised in Ohio. And as you can see here, go Bucks. We're big college football fans in Columbus, Ohio. That's really all you hear about is college football, and you kind of can't beat it, so you need to just join in. I was not before a college football fan, but I was converted. So you'll find the OHIO all over the world once you start looking for it. But I do love to travel. These are some pictures of my students and I, previous students in France. I've traveled with lots of different student groups and taught overseas in French immersion schools in Switzerland and worked also in France. So I have a lot of experience with young adults and travel, and it's always a great time. It's certainly always memorable, and I really think life-changing for most, if not all, of the students that I've traveled with. That's what they would say. I have a little pug named Petey. He's dressed up as a pirate here. He didn't much appreciate that, but we got a cute picture out of it. I love to travel myself, and that's one of the reasons that I love to travel with students. I love to share that joy and that appreciation for other cultures and people with students. And, oh, that's awesome. Pug dogs are the best. So my husband and I love to travel any chance that we get. And again, we just are really thrilled that you're here, and we hope to be able to answer all of your questions throughout our meeting today. If we don't, we'll be giving you our specific contact information so that you can get in touch with us, and we can further answer any questions for you. So let's begin by talking a little bit about what we will see on our trip. Here are some highlights. We will begin in London, England. So here's a shot of Windsor Castle. And after that, we'll be traveling to Paris via the Channel. We'll be taking the Eurostar, which goes under the English Channel, into France. That will be a first for me. I bet some of you have maybe even done that with how much traveling it sounds like you've done. Caitlin, you've done the Channel. I'm a little nervous about that. I'm sure it's going to be pretty exciting. So things like the Louvre Museum, where you may have heard of the Mona Lisa, is held, as well as thousands and thousands of other wonderful historical works of art. The Eiffel Tower. And then Ms. Flores Hall, a picture of this in her description of herself, the Plaza Mayor in Madrid, Spain. So that's where we'll finish. We'll be taking a night train from Paris to Spain. So we'll be doing plenty of train travel. Some yummy tapas to munch on. Yeah, I think we're all really excited about the food too, not just the sights, but the food. Here is a little bit more detailed breakdown of our tour itinerary, which you will find on that PDF that was sent out to you when you first joined our meeting. Day one, you don't really see much because we will likely be on a red-eye flight, and our whole first day will likely be traveling. If you didn't get that PDF, just let us know at the very end, and I'll try sending it out then. Okay? Thanks for letting us know, though. So that's why you don't see much here on day one. If you are traveling from the United States, if you are living in the United States, traveling from there, we will all be traveling together from New York City to London, England. And our tour company can arrange for you specific travel from wherever you're beginning. So if you're from Texas or California or Colorado or Pennsylvania, okay, they can arrange those specific flights to get you to New York to join up with the entire group so that you're there for that group flight overseas. Correct, Caitlin, yes. So what you're going to see in the price quote is from New York City to Europe and round trip. So, and back from our last country that we'll be in is Spain, and so we will be flying from Spain together back to New York City. So if you get travel arranged through our tour company, which we would highly, highly recommend, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later, that would be an additional cost. But they will arrange everything for you. So the price quote that you see is round trip airfare from New York City. But they will arrange everything for you, and the reason that it's best that you do it through our tour company is if there's a delay or a cancellation in your initial flight from Oklahoma or Florida or wherever, then they will make sure to get you on the next flight and meet up with us. It will be much easier to coordinate your travel if everything is organized through the tour company. Okay, so the second day, which is our first full day on our tour, will be in London. And here are some of the activities. I won't necessarily read all of this. I'll let you read about these items on your own. But as you can see, each day is packed full of all of the greatest sites, I think, that you could think of to see in the cities we'll be visiting. Day 4 is when we take the Eurostar across the English Channel over into Paris. So we'll begin the day in London, end the day in Paris, with the majority of the day spent in Paris. We'll do a walking tour when we arrive, and we'll also visit the Louvre, have dinner, and then, you know, get settled into our hotel there in Paris. Day 5 is our first full day in Paris. Again, you can see it's packed full of wonderful monuments and sites, museums that we'll get to visit. Included is, yeah, definitely bring comfy shoes, great point. So here is the Versailles Palace, the Hallway of Mirrors, which you may have heard of. Very beautiful. And then we will be taking a night train from Paris to Madrid on day 6. Okay, so we'll have about a half-ish day in Paris, maybe closer to a full day because it is a night train to Madrid. So you won't be staying in a hotel this evening. You will be staying on a train overnight. Pretty exciting, right? Our first full day in Madrid. Landmarks, here's the tapas Ms. Flores Hall was talking about, getting excited for all the food. And then day 8 is our last full day on our tour, and we will continue seeing the different sites. We'll also take a little day trip to Toledo and tour the cathedral there, and then have a flamenco evening, which I am particularly excited about. Really cool stuff. And then our last day is really just travel. We'll stay overnight in the hotel, get up likely early in the morning, and fly back to New York City all together. Okay, so that's a basic rundown of the itinerary of the sites we'll see. Again, you have more details on that PDF that was sent out. We'll send it out again at the end of the meeting just in case you didn't catch that when you first signed in. What's included? So here are the inclusions for this trip. Round trip airfare, like I mentioned just a few moments ago, through New York City. So the price that you'll see on that PDF and that we'll go through in just a moment is from New York City and back to New York City. We really strongly encourage you to arrange the rest of your travel from within the continental U.S., especially through our tour company, to get to New York City. And depending on where you're flying from to get to New York, that will dictate the cost, the additional cost. and the tour company will be better able to help you with that. We'll give you all the information for getting in touch with them and enrolling on the trip very shortly here. So overnight stays in the hotels with private bathrooms. That doesn't mean that every student in every room gets their own personal bathroom. What that means, because many of you who've traveled know that in European hotels, sometimes there's a bathroom for the entire floor that they share. We will be staying in hotel rooms that each room has their own bathroom. So you'll be sharing the bathroom with your roommates, okay? But that doesn't mean like there's 4 bathrooms in the room. The full European breakfast daily. Europeans eat a slightly lighter breakfast than some of us Americans might be accustomed to, okay? So you're probably not going to have like egg omelets with bacon and ham and that sort of thing, okay? You're going to get more toasts, yogurts, that kind of thing, with juice, fruits, things like that. Dinner is included, but please notice that lunch and snacks as well as drinks are not included. You will always be offered water at every meal, and at breakfast you'll probably have a choice of juice or coffee, tea, that kind of thing. But for dinners, you will be, if you want to buy a Coke, something like that, you will need to purchase that on your own. But dinner is included. So breakfast and dinner, but you would need to provide your own lunch, pay for your own lunch, any soda, pop type drinks, snacks, and souvenirs, okay? We have a full-time professional tour director who will meet us from the moment we land in London and be with us until the moment they take us to the airport in Spain when we return to the United States. So they will be able to help us coordinate everything while we're there. They stay in the hotel with us to, again, help us to coordinate, facilitate everything. And our tour is a private tour, which means that we will not be joining up with any other school groups. Sometimes when you do student travel and you take these kinds of trips, you're joined with other school groups. So this will be only for iAcademy students. Guided sightseeing tours and city walks as per itinerary. So everything you see on your itinerary is included. There are no additional costs for going to Versailles, for example, or that day trip to Toledo. That's all, or going out to Windsor Castle while we're in London. All of those are included. I don't think there will be very much time for any sorts of optional mini excursions. If there were, they would be at an additional cost, but we really have such a packed itinerary as it is. We tried to give you as much as possible within the itinerary, as many sites and monuments and cool things to see, that we'll have a little bit of free time. I'm sure some people want to do some shopping, but it's really all included. So same thing here, visits to the attractions according to your itinerary. A Seine River cruise. Love that, especially when it's in the evening and you get to see all the monuments of Paris lit up from the Seine River. It's amazing. That is included. Guided sightseeing tours with a headset. Those are included in some of our tours. When it says on your itinerary guided sightseeing tours, it'll have some kind of side note. We'll get one of these high-tech headsets that you put on, and we'll be in a group and we'll be following a tour guide who will be speaking into a microphone, and it will feed right into our ears, so you don't have to like strain yourself to hear her through the crowds, or him through the crowds. And a tour diary. The tour diary, I think there is a slide next about it. The online tour diary will probably be more exciting to parents maybe than students. The tour diary is how your friends and family will be able to track what you're doing daily. Now you might have a cell phone and have internet capabilities, and at night when you're in the hotel, you might write to all your friends and family and tell them what you've done that day. But your tour director, the tour director that is with us, will update this daily with pictures of our group and information about what we did and what we saw. Okay, so your friends and family, you probably will be kind of tired at the end of the day, and maybe you don't have time to write to your friends and family every day. Well, they can check this site and see pictures of you that our tour director has uploaded and read about what you did that day. Okay, so this is a really cool thing for friends and family, so they can track what you're doing while you're on this trip. This is our tour company's options for travel protection, travel insurance. You're not required to purchase this, but it is an option that's available to you. This is information from the tour company, and they say 4 out of 5 Explorica is the name of the company, travelers protect their tours with travel protection plan. Again, it is entirely up to you whether or not you choose to go with a travel insurance plan. And they break down the cost for you. The travel protection plan is $12 per day of travel, up to a maximum of $180. So that might be on a bit longer tour. Must be purchased by your last payment. And then the travel protection plan plus is $18 per day and has some more inclusions. If you want to check out the details of their travel protection plans, let me paste that link for you into the chat box. You can find it fairly easily from the Explorica main page by just searching for travel protection plan in the search box once you go to explorica.com, but if you want to capture that link, then you'll have it there. Okay. So I don't think that I'm going to go into the details of the protection plans, the travel protection plans here. Again, I would recommend that you look up the information on your own when you have time and decide if it's right for your family. The pricing details. All of this pricing information is again included on that PDF that you received when you first signed in. The total student cost is $3,235. That is as of June 20th, okay? As of June 20th. The price would potentially increase. It's not a sure thing, but the tour company will reevaluate current prices for travel fees, things like that. And then the price of the tour may increase. So this price is good until June 20th. So if you know that you're going to participate on this trip, and we hope you are, then sign up before June 20th and you can receive $75 off. Okay? You want to use the voucher code June75 off when you enroll on the tour. And we will talk about that very shortly. So again, this is as of June 20th, and thank you, Ms. Flores Hall, pasted in the link there. That's how you can see our tour center, all the details of our trip online, as well as just clicking on a link on the side that says Enroll Now, and then you can enroll. And that price, I want to go back just briefly. This price, again, includes your round-trip airfare, the hotels, everything that we went over in the inclusions. What does this trip include? It includes all of that. That's other than your passport, of course, you need to get on your own. Again, lunches, snacks, beverages, other than water, you would need to purchase on your own, but otherwise, all is included. Okay, your payment options. You have a few different payment options. I would say that in the times I've traveled, the majority of the families that I've traveled with have chosen the automatic monthly payment plans because it ensures that you won't miss a payment. You won't forget about it, and it also breaks it down into easy, even payment installments. There's a $99 deposit paid upon registration. You don't have to get the travel protection, again, optional travel protection. And then it will be billed automatically to your credit card or checking account, however you set it up when you enroll and create your account. And then automatic withdrawals will happen either on the 5th or the 20th of the month, each month until your balance is paid off. Your balance will be divided into equal monthly payments until just before a month before a departure. And then you can check, once you enroll in the tour, you will have created an account through the tour company, and you can monitor everything. It'll give you a countdown until how many days until our trip. It will tell you the itinerary. It will tell you the different payments that you've made, what you still owe on the trip. It'll give you a lot of important information. You can choose the manual payment plan, and they break it down into 4 steps. The deposit again, then payments are not automatically withdrawn, okay, hence the manual payment plan. 30 days after you enroll or register, so within a month of your registration date, your second payment of $500 is due. Then, 105 days before our departure, so roughly 3.5 months before departure, 75% of your balance is due. And they will break down the cost for you in your account once you enroll. The remainder of your balance will be due a little bit more than 2 months before our departure. Okay, and it just depends on what you plan, how your family breaks down the finances and wants to do this. Or you can pay it in full. You can pay by check or credit card, and you can pay off the entire balance when you first register. How to enroll. Enrolling online is really easy. They make it very easy for you. You can simply go to explorica.com and you'll see a page that looks just like this one. And you just click on Student Sign Up. Student Sign Up. And then you enter this ID. So this is one way of doing it. Another way of doing it, the link that Ms. Flores Hall shared just a moment ago, and I'll paste it in one more time, that already has this ID code entered in. That just makes sure that you're signing up for our tour. You're not signing up to go on some other school's tour. If you go to the link that I just typed into the chat box that already has the ID code entered in, you just have to fill in your information and hit enter, okay, to enroll. Correct. Thank you, Ms. Flores Hall, for getting that in the chat box too. That is our tour ID code, so how the tour company knows which tour you want to sign up for. When you're creating your account, I want to highlight this. It is absolutely critical that you enter the traveler's name as it appears on his or her passport. So once you go to that link or you hit sign up, student sign up, and you enter our tour ID, you'll get to a page that looks just like this one at the top. And it will ask you to enter your name, first and last name, your date of birth, gender. This is all necessary information because of all the flight security issues. And you need to enter your first name and your last name exactly as it appears on your passport. If you don't have a passport yet, then you need to think about what your name will look like on your passport and make sure that when you create this account, you create it with the exact same name. And Ms. Mahler is exactly right. This is how your plane ticket will be issued. If your plane ticket does not match exactly what it says on your passport, there really can be issues. For example, if you're a student and your name is Nathan, but you go by Nate, if your passport says Nathan, then your account needs to say Nathan, okay? They must match. It's completely out of our hands, and it's all about travel regulations in airports and such, okay? So that is really, really crucial that you don't just, enter in a nickname or a middle name or anything like that. This is how they will create your plane ticket. So make sure to correctly enter your birthday, your gender, as well as your name. Then you can make payments online through your account. Once you enroll and you've created that account, you can, as I mentioned before, monitor everything from there. You can see how many days, of course this is not our tour, but this is a screenshot of what your account would look like with our tour information, and it would have a countdown to how many days until the trip, the dates of the trip, some pictures of sites that we'll see, the itinerary. It will tell you your remaining balance and give you some of that sort of information. Here is the tour company contact information, their email, their mail address or physical address, fax or phone number. They're very easy to get a hold of, especially by phone if you're within the United States. They're very helpful. I've heard from all previous parents and students that their customer service, and in my experience, they're super helpful. So I'll give you a moment to perhaps copy any of that information down, or you will notice on the bottom of your PDF, this information is there. The bottom, I think, left-hand corner of the page, you'll see all of their contact information. Right, great question, Caitlin. Yes. So you'd enroll on the trip, and then, that's a great question, and then you can call their customer service and say, hi, I'm from Nebraska, and I need to arrange travel to get to New York. You know, how much will that cost? What will that look like? That's exactly what you want to do. All right, and contacting us. If you think about questions for any reason about anything, if we can help you in any way to make this decision or to give you more details, please feel free to contact any of us. At this time, the trip is only open to students, so it's only open to full-time high school iAcademy students. We're very easy to get a hold of by Skype. You can also contact any of us by phone and certainly by K-mail. So no, there are no parents other than the adult teacher chaperones from iAcademy. There at this time would be no other adults. Yeah, your schoolwork, of course, as a teacher, I would highly recommend that you get ahead in your work so that when you get back, you're not trying to catch up. And right, only high school, full-time high school students are allowed to go on the trip. But again, if you're currently an 8th grader, but you'll be in high school next spring when we go on the trip, then you may sign up. Right, and this trip is not over spring break. It's a couple weeks before spring break. I know that we didn't want to disrupt any family plans or holiday plans over the spring break. So that's why we chose a date that was, I think, a couple weeks before spring break, before iAcademy's spring break. Okay, and that's a great point, Ms. Mahler. And, you know, hopefully you'll get a little ahead, at least in your lessons, and then you'll have the spring break to get fully caught up so that, you know, you're not struggling in any of your courses. Of course, we don't want that. If you have certain dietary restrictions, we can make that request. There's a form that we'll fill out for you. Let's say you're a vegetarian. That's an excellent question. Then we can certainly make those accommodations. And they will have specific meals that are available to you that are vegetarian, for example, or if you have specific food allergies. Once you get enrolled in the tour, we'll have lots of informational meetings to make sure we're getting information out to you, and so we can get to know one another better. But yeah, that's something that we will take care of, and they can accommodate that. We can do that too, right? Only kosher food? Yeah, they will make accommodations for you. And then thanks, Ms. Flores Hall. If you would take a moment we're just about at the end of our meeting here. If you could take a moment to fill out the survey that Ms. Flores Hall just passed out to you through the chat box. If you could click on that and fill out that survey, that will give us your information so that we can get in touch with you to help you better, to assist you better, and so we can keep track of who's been here and who's interested in our trip. So what you want to do to enroll is go to explorica.com, and we had that ID that we pasted into the chat a bit ago. We go back to that page so you can see it again. We will be there on a Saturday, but we won't be traveling by plane on a Saturday. Let me copy and paste. You can use this link again to sign up or to enroll for the tour. You would have separate accounts, Caitlin. That's a great question. Again, really good questions. You will need to create separate accounts because you have to have separate names on the account so that they're issuing your plane ticket, you know, individually for both of you. Joseph, we'd have to double check that. I don't know for sure. We won't be on a plane on Saturday, but we might be on a train since we travel by train twice during the trip. So we would have to definitely double check those travel dates. Okay, so I will, yes. I'm going to send out that PDF again, and maybe Ms. Flores Hall could paste that that survey into the box one more time. Please take a moment to fill out that survey. And I'm sending out that PDF again to you just in case you didn't get it, you didn't receive it when you first entered. We really appreciate all of you taking the time to be here, to ask great questions, to get information. We hope you're excited about this opportunity. We certainly are. Please contact us with any questions that you might think of. Feel free to contact the tour company with any company-specific questions you might have, or details about the travel between, you know, wherever you live and New York City. And if we missed any of your questions, please type them into the chat again, and we will try to answer those for you. Otherwise, if you don't feel that you have any questions at this time, we thank you so much again. Merci. Gracias. Thank you for coming. We look forward to meeting with you again soon. We're not sure of any of the specific airline companies or of the flight itinerary. We won't get that information until just a couple months before we travel. So we can't, unfortunately, give you any specifics on the flights or the airline. There's no current limit on the number of students allowed, but right now there are no parents traveling with us. The trip is only available to students. The price of the tour is specifically priced for student travel, so it's only open to full-time high school students. Caitlin, you could ask them, you could probably request that they have you specifically travel on, let's say it's American Airlines or whatever it may be. You can request that maybe. They would probably tell you that maybe you won't get the best pricing available, but they might be able to accommodate you. Now, from New York with the group travel, they can't necessarily guarantee that, okay? Sorry, I know there was a question in the chat, but I think it got passed up. I'm just scrolling through the chat, see if we can answer any questions. If you're currently in 8th grade and you're not sure, hopefully we answered that one. You are still allowed to go on the trip, sure. It would be your family's decision about enrolling on the trip, and then if you end up not continuing at iAcademy, you would have to cancel your registration. You must be a full-time high school iAcademy student at the time of the trip. So you might want to look into some of the travel insurance plans in case you need to cancel your registration or your enrollment. Okay, any other questions we can answer? And I'm going to keep the recording going for these questions just because I think they'll really help others who might be watching this later. Correct. At the time of travel, you must be a full-time high school iAcademy student. That is correct. The monthly payments will kind of depend. I don't think we broke down the monthly payments for you, but Explorica can do that. Once you contact them, they can tell you what the monthly payments would be. It depends on when you enroll because they'll break down the payments for each month. And if you enroll now versus next month, your payments each month will be greater. So it really is just dependent. That's something you want to ask Explorica about, okay? Good point, Ms. Horizontal. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. If there are still any questions that we missed that you'd like to ask us, we're here to answer those. Sure thing, Mr. Meehan. Oh, for you, that one, you can choose Miss Sabrina, but that part won't be as important. I don't even think you have to choose a salutation. You just need to make sure that your name is correct. You can even leave that part of it blank, but I see what you're talking about now. I think that one you would put Miss because that's for a young woman, but you can leave that part blank. The more important part is just specifically your first and last name, okay? You're very welcome. Are there any other questions?